So today we're going to be talking about the perspective and principles of designing and delivering great events and where we see the future of this going. So it's going to be a highly interactive session today, and we are as excited to learn from you as much as we are to share the latest experiences that we have as well. So expect a very interactive, fun session. The way that we're going to be structuring today is we've got 30 minutes together, do my timer, and we'll be covering how AI and event design principles are shaping the future, and also sharing some of SmartLab's interactive capabilities and some of the agentic developments that we're seeing. And then we've also got time for some Q&A, and all the way through, you'll be supported by myself and my esteemed colleague, Clemens. So just a quick few words about us. So if we've not met before, I'm George. I'm the commercial director here at Ludic, and I've been designing, delivering programs for longer than I care to remember, and working also closely with the team on the roadmap for SmartLab. And the musician side is also important to me. So the music you heard today, that was something that I composed. But it's not about me. I would like to introduce you to the real star of today, and that is Mr. Clemens Hackl, the Director of Digital. Welcome, Clemens.
Thank you, George. Great to be joining you on this. Hello, everyone. I look after all our digital solutions here at Ludic, and I'm super excited to be in this conversation with you, George, and showing some exciting things that we've been working on.
That's wonderful, and thank you, everyone, for joining us too. So before we really jump into the content, I just wanted to give you a few housekeeping points about how we're going to do today. So please be aware that we are recording this session. So we want to hear from you throughout the webinar. Please have your SmartLab browser open, and we'll be hosting interactive polls throughout. And there's also loads and loads of materials in your SmartLab environment. So please continue to explore that after the webinar. Get in touch. Ask your questions. There's an area in the side menu that allows you to ask questions for the Q&A. So you're in the club, and we're delighted to have you with us. And this will be an environment that will continue to evolve in the future as we bring you more topics and boldly go forward together, really. So this, I think that's everything on the housekeeping side. If you get disconnected, just jump back in, and yeah, please take part in all the interactive features. So first things first, so today's session, it's all about events, right? So what type of event use cases are we talking about here? So, are we talking about a concert or a fashion show, or are we planning a wedding or a festival? No, really, we're here today just to level set us, and we're talking about business events. So things that are very much focused in the workplace. So it could be something like strategic brand launches, or let's say in the healthcare industry around scientific exchange work, or senior leadership meetings and knowledge development think tanks, or things supporting strategic change programs. So this is really within the frame of our conversation today. Not that if you've joined and you're more interested in some of the other areas, that hopefully there'll be some value for you today also, as we talk about some of the fundamental principles. And really,
that's actually a great segue, George.
Yes.
On all the other use cases that might not be on this list. I think we should.
Oh, yeah.
I think we should hear from our audience and see what event use cases they're mostly involved in.
I think that's
so. Everyone, if
a great
you,
question.
Yeah, great. So everyone, if you turn your attention to SmartLab, we will be opening a survey there, a quick question. You should have that on your screen right now. So we would love to hear from you. What event use cases are you mostly involved with? We give you about 20 seconds, and then we take a look at the results.
As everyone's working, why don't I bring up the results so we can start to see some of the answers coming in. Aha, interesting. So we're seeing strategic leadership events, town halls, corporate innovation, app development, design work events. Excellent. Workshops aligning around common agendas. Cat herding, love that. Everyone's very busy.
Very interesting.
Yeah. Healthcare as well. SLMs and IMs. Okay. Great stuff. That's a really good cross section. All right. Super. Well, I think what we're going to cover today will be very helpful for that. So
I think so too.
thank you so much. All right. So why don't we start off with some design principles and how AI also is starting to shape the future of the event. So let's level set all of us for a moment and take into account that a few years ago, face to face really was the main way to do things. It was actually quite unusual to do high profile events not in person. But then, of course, as we all experienced, the pandemic accelerated the use of virtual. And really, what was so interesting was the pivot and the focus on still giving high quality experience through tools and interactive journeys and sensitive facilitation. Really, was very much is the continues to be the focus. Taking some of those principles from a successful in person event and bringing that into the online space is very important. And now I think it's fair to say we're very much moving towards a uh, a world where people are more selective about when it makes sense for the different formats. And I think from what we're seeing, and Clemens, please jump in as well. But I think what we're seeing is that there's a number of different drivers influencing that. So
Mm.
it's not just cost and time of travel and accommodation and so forth, but it's also around things like sustainability. It's great to see that that's so high on top of the agenda these days with things like carbon credits and carbon disclosure and so forth, as well as kind of ways of working and just being conscious about what's the right format for the right situation. So I think that's it's exciting to see the way it's evolving, and there's a lot of scope for innovation.
Yeah, and there's also time for another question. Now that we've seen the three types of events and formats, again, a question for the audience. What event formats are you seeing now in your organization? How has that shift materialized in the organization? So again, we will push the activity on SmartLab, so you should have that open now. And we'll give you a little bit of time, and let's see what the temperature is there.
Yeah, super. This is a nice, quick sliding question. All of the above. Yeah, this is a. I was expecting to see it that way too, but there's a big shift on hybrid, quite a lot of virtual.
Yeah, I mean, this reflects what we're seeing a lot, right, George? A lot of hybrid engagements, not everyone traveling, and not excluding anyone if they can't travel. Yeah.
Also, you can get extremely high quality experiences from all the different formats, right? So
yeah, exactly.
That's the important thing. All right, super. Well, let's move us along because I'm keen to get to some of the cutting edge stuff. But just to before we start to dive into all the AI side of things, I think it is important to say that there are really some timeless principles that we always pay attention to as part of designing any event, and really this applies to any format, any topic, any use case. We refer to these as the 8 domains of collaboration. And you know, what's exciting about these is that you've always got a focus. So the outer rings here on this focus, this is all about things like the outcomes, the objectives, how you're measuring success, what environment you're working in, what's your knowledge base that's underpinning it. If there's frameworks, models, learning methods, how are you sequencing and adding all those things in, as well as what are the tools and systems that you have there. So we always sort of pay attention to these, and to be honest, no matter what the event that you're planning is, you won't really go very far wrong if you pay attention to some of these things. And then we also have this inner sequencing side, which is really all around the how the interactions are structured, right, Clemens?
Yeah, that's right. Everything starts with the sequence, building the flow of things in principle, and planning the right level of engagement and the right sections, whether that's providing overview or deep dives. So very much the flow. Staging, of course, then is the the stage where you bring together the theme, the experience, bring it to life, apply the branding, and then followed by adding the knowledge. So the knowledge work is, of course, super important for any type of event. So you have to provide the right material. You have to provide the right people to help bring things to life and move people along and support them in their work at events. Yeah. And then, of course, production, ultimately delivering everything that's been put together from pre-event, during the event, and then post-event, of course.
And what's so interesting about all of this is that as we are moving forward with all these, game-changing technological advances, it's still paying attention to these fundamental principles. Is really is how we can win and how we can really get these amazing experiences together from it. So we just wanted to just pay a little bit of attention to some of these core fundamental principles. But now I think it's time to do a little step change and start to talk about some of the areas where we're seeing exciting developments, and I guess that's probably why a lot of you who've joined us today you're here for that. So the first thing is we've been through this period around digitization already, right? So it's I remember time was everything was like, oh, the future is digital, everything's being digital. Well, things are digital now already. So that was really around converting and recording data in a more effective way. But now really the focus is all around the digitalization, right? And this is all around developing processes and changing workflows to improve manual systems. And that's really where we see and the world really is seeing just this acceleration of opportunity through AI and interconnected systems and so forth. So as we think about how this applies to the future of events, well, really we've broken it down into key elements. So the one is around augmentation. That's basically adding experts to your event, or if you want, work job to be done, right? So there used to be just the human expertise, but now you can really bring in that machine expertise too. The second aspect is the automation. So how can you use your workflows and processes for aligning your business processes and getting all of those things kind of coded and automated as well, obviously keeping the human very much in the loop. And those things together, they do allow for that acceleration. So putting it all into action, getting superior results at lower cost, greater speed, personalization for people, all these incredible things that we see the opportunities for. And so from our side of things, and so obviously we have a product here at Ludic that we call SmartLab, but we see the augmentation side. That's the bit where it's smart. So it's the intelligence layer that we weave into it. And then the second piece is we refer to the automation thing as labs. So basically any piece of work that needs doing, anything that needs automating, that really, those sets of processes are labs of sorts. And then that is where you can achieve the acceleration. And as you can see here by this beautiful animation, there's it comes together neatly into what we refer to as lovingly as SmartLab. And you're using SmartLab today, so you're all using the SmartLab Express tool, so the one on the right of your screen. But we also have the ability to create highly interactive journeys and branded experiences through what we refer to as SmartLab 360, and of course mobile. So the idea is not just to have a one-off exciting event where things are super engaging and then everyone just goes off and does their own thing, but rather keeping the community together, delivering all the materials and all the multimedia and all the interconnectivity into one place, and having that journey which is personalized and as you'll see in a minute, leveraging some of that intelligence layer as well to guide you through something.
Yeah, and to also extend on the opportunities that there are in pre-event and post-event engagement, where typically people just show up and immerse themselves in 1 to 3 days of events. All that possibilities that exist in getting people together beforehand, getting them to co-create something perhaps for the event, inform the event, and then do further processing with everything that has produced after the event. Typically, there aren't places to do that bring it all together, and SmartLab with its different modes can do that.
It does allow that. Well, I guess, Clemens, that probably leads you quite nicely into the world of the agentic virtual team members,
Yes.
right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Yeah. So this is, of course, where we're all heading with the AI. And we've also had a pre workshop, a pre-webinar question around that, what tools are being used. So I'm very curious to see what's already present. But in our mind, the AI needs to play an active role in that engagement, to engage users, participants, help surface or interrogate the data that's being produced, to help across learning, the decision making, perhaps the production of things. Of course, that's a very important role that AI can play in producing events. And then, of course, reporting, where the AI can be incredibly powerful to get to the right data more quickly and more accurately.
So these are performing roles, right, Clemens? These are effectively
Yeah,
different members of the team, each with their
yeah,
own focused
yeah. Members
objective.
of the team, companions, or colleagues of virtual colleagues of the administrators, for example, or team members at the events that help the teams to synthesize their work. Yeah,
Well, why don't we get to know each of them a little bit better? How about that?
yeah. I think we've got something prepared.
Okay. And I think also it's worth saying that more of these agents are will be joining us very soon as we evolve.
Oh, yeah.
So why don't you start us off then? Tell us a bit about the learning agent.
Yeah, the learning agent is there to help participants of learning events or users of learning journeys to find the right things at the same time, at the right time, connect them to what's relevant when it's relevant, and to connect them from content to colleagues to um, learning modules. And it allows to really streamline and engage in a succinct way.
Mhm. So effectively, you train this agent on the content that sits within your program, and
It
it allows and it bubbles up the it bubbles up the knowledge to you. Is that?
It does because it knows the participant, so it knows what's available to the participant and can suggest the right things. Where typically people have to go and explore, but here there is this companion that reaches out to learners
Mhm.
and gives them the right things that they need.
Cool, cool. Next on to the decision agent. So I'd like to take this one because I think this
Of
is a
course.
really, for me personally, I find this very exciting. So a big part of SmartLab's sort of functionality is that you're able to do real-time collaborative tools like we're doing today. So even though not everyone can speak at the same time, we're still able to interact and share a lot of insights and knowledge. And whether that's brainstorming or prioritizing or planning and you building out a sequence, that's all part of the tool set there. And what this assistant here is doing is essentially helping with real-time data synthesis and
Mm.
clustering and trend visualization. You know, it's answering questions like what are participants most concerned about, or can you generate an infographic summarizing these trends? So as you facilitate, let's say, a workshop, as sort of mentioned earlier, or a senior leadership meeting, and people are using the tools within that to share their ideas, and this can basically act as real-time intelligence to help synthesize and support that collaborative decision making. So I'm
And
excited
as
about
part of the team. So here, the AI is a team member, as you said earlier, and it gives the insights to everyone, and everyone can use it in that conversation.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. All right, well, next on to production agents. So this
Yeah,
guy here is doing something quite special and quite different.
yeah. So this is what I mentioned earlier. It's the companion to the administrators who are normally very busy setting things up in different places. So here, the agent supports that setup. It suggests workflows. It builds workflows for events or for breakouts, and does a lot of the heavy lifting that otherwise is quite time consuming for administrators of learning experiences.
Hmm, cool. So this is basically the idea here is to do the heavy lifting when it comes to setting up an event or an initiative of some sort. This
Yeah.
helps guide you through that. Cool. And then the fourth one, the final one we wanted to show today, this is all around the what we refer to as the reporting agent. So really one of the things, obviously data is so vital to help make sense of all the work. It's a big part of what we need to measure ROI and how things are landing. And in SmartLab, there's always been this principle around everything you can click is measurable
Mm.
and helps generate insight. And here this agent is going to help synthesize the data and provide actionable insights from it. So it's taking all that and applying the intelligence layer over the top.
And
So
the use cases are there's so many wonderful use cases, from using the AI to surface people that might need additional nudging, or to, as you said, generate specific reports on activities, or even create a semantic analysis of a 3-day event and produce a report that includes all the visuals at the click of a button. So there are so many great opportunities here.
well, I think it's time next for our next interactive poll. And
Yeah,
we said at the start that we were keen to share things that we've been coming across and finding with you, but we would really love to hear from you also, and find out a bit more about, how do you see AI tools adding value to your events? So, obviously what we showed, hopefully that you can see some useful use cases there, but just generally they're everyone's got different areas that they need to pay attention to. So we'd love to um, crowdsource a little bit and find out what you're seeing. So I think our team will be pushing a new app your way,
yeah,
and
that
we'd
should
love
be,
to.
that is on SmartLab already. So if everyone wants to go there again, and yeah, I'm really excited about this one.
I'm going to start bringing up the results.
Yeah, they're coming in right now.
Nice, yeah, it's taking the admin load off.
Yeah, learning content and journeys also. Yeah, synthesis of data. Yeah, creating reports faster.
Lead converting into revenue. Okay.
That's a good one.
What was that?
Helping with organization project management. That is also an interesting one in that context.
So yeah, these are a lot of similar areas to where we're spending a lot of our time thinking about it as well, allowing smaller teams to do more. That's so true, isn't it? In terms of
Yeah,
amplify um, your knowledge and your expertise.
yeah, yeah. Because you need fewer people to achieve with the help of AI, whether that's the production assistant, or even the AI tools to engage users. That is typically a lot of work.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Leads converting to revenue, identifying inefficiencies in process, being operational out of hours. Yeah, absolutely. And I've seen,
Yeah,
you see just all the time, like even sort of agentic agents supporting customers. It's way beyond just a chatbot these days, isn't it? You can have whole solve all sorts of complex problems, but also upsell and look for opportunities to enhance the customer experience overall. Oh, this is great. Thank you so much, everyone, for sharing your insights here. It's very valuable. And I'm conscious we're coming to the end of our time. It was really just
yeah,
a
already.
quick fire, rapid show and tell, and gathering some insights and touching base with you all. So I can't believe we've already gone through the time, but I think there's a few more minutes left around the Q&A side of things. So um, why don't we see, Clemens, if there have been
Yeah.
questions asked? So we have the Smart Lab environment. There is a ask your questions area here. So please feel free to do that.
Yeah, I'm just going through some of the questions here.
Anything stands out to you?
Yeah, what advice would you give to organizations looking to integrate AI into their event strategy for the first time?
That's a great question.
That is a great question.
So, well, I can speak in terms of based on think tanks that we've been involved with and helped, and also based on our own journey through this. And really, the main thing is around finding experiments and testing safely. So it's there's a lot of implications, especially when you're looking at an enterprise level in terms of things like you know, security and where data sets are coming from and what's happening with the data and all these sorts of things. So the thing to do really is to lean into that and understand and see where there are opportunities and work in a way that's very much doing little tests and experiments and iterations and then see how that evolves and then obviously look to working with partners where all those rules and regulations are compliant. But ultimately, it's, I think, very much around exploration and sharing. I can't tell you how many times I'm in a meeting and I'm blown away by all these amazing tools that colleagues and clients are bringing to our attention as much as we're able to share there. So I think it's a lot that. But Clemens, do you have a view on this?
I have actually another question that I think we should also not miss.
Okay, well, let's
Um,
do that because of the time.
how do you think audience expectations for virtual and hybrid events have changed in recent years? I think that's also a very good question. And I think expectations will, if I can take this one, I mean, expectations will continue to change, especially now with the advent and the implementation of AI. But from our experience, people are expecting it to be a lot more in sync, especially at hybrid events, for the experience to be
Yeah,
quite similar to being on site or not being on site. Broadcasting to the remote participants is, of course, one element that's widely used, but using tools that engages them in the activities on site, like Q&A or surveys as part of presentations, being able to make that available at the same time to the remote participants, so they're not just watching, but also participating, I think is a growing expectation that
absolutely.
it's a very similar experience and no one gets sort of left behind.
Or borderless in all senses, right? And having a ubiquitous experience regardless of your mode of being part of it, really.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Well, listen, guys, I'm sorry the time is short. We've had it's been amazing to talk with you and to share this, and we hope it's been useful for you as well. We're gonna do one last post if we may, and get your feedback about this, and also what other topics would be useful for you. And as we do this, I just want to say a massive thank you to Clemens, firstly, for sharing your expertise with us.
Well, I
And
was going to say the same thing about you.
oh, thank you so much. And behind us, there sits an amazing Ludic team. So we've had a fantastic production team. We want to thank Mel and Jess and Pasha, Violetta, Helena. It's been a big team effort to put all these aspects together. So thank you so much from everyone here at Ludic. And we've hope it's been a enjoyable and useful session for you. And we look forward to many more. So
Thank you,
thank
George.
you again.
I think we're going to push one more activity to everyone, and that's just to capture a little feedback and some further insights on from you. So the team will open that in a moment, and we appreciate that you spent maybe another 10 seconds on that before you log off. Thank
Wishing
you,
you a
everyone.
wonderful rest of the week. Thanks, everyone.